Hello, everyone, to everyone's favorite podcast about Gemini movies. We are back from a break, totally a break of life. I'm your host, Alice Water, and my co host.
Hey, yeah, I'm here. I guess I'm Alessia now. I got another name. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah,
It's Gemini Movies, the final episode.
yeah. Da 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 da.
It's
Okay.
the final countdown. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So, entail. Um, okay, so as always, we start with let's about talking about things you have consumed every month. So I've been playing Hit video game. Everyone loves it. Cyberpunk 277, I think it's called, by
I
CD
think so, yeah.
Project, where people tell me this game is good. Final, not final product so far. It's fine. It's okay. It's one of those.
It's one
That
of them GTAs.
Yeah. So this game is actually playable now because with the so I'm playing this with the Liberty City. I think it's called like Phantom Liberty DLC. That
Okay.
it's not. I'm not on the DLC, but the DLC is not just the DLC. It changes a lot of the games, the systems. It also makes it run better enough in low end PCs, which is
Oh,
nice.
wow.
If you have Windows 10 to 11. So yeah, the game itself feels much more better because I did play a bit of it originally. The combat feels much more feels much more flexible. You can change weapons very nice. There's much more like intensity to the fight itself. It's still one of those. So if you don't are not in, like an open world like RPG cyberpunk thing, that's basically the GTA with like first person, you're
Yeah.
not gonna like it. I think actually some of the writing, because after they changed some of the previous writing in the game, is interesting enough in terms of cyberpunk storytelling, like modern cyberpunk storytelling, mainstream. There's moments where like you talk with people from like your crew or like or like people you know, and like there's moments of like intensity, like just realizing about that, which I think is interesting enough. I think there's actually some decent funny writing as well.
Okay.
Uh, like the cops just keep asking you to like do jobs for them. Obviously, just like outsource like some random guy, like random woman, can play a woman. So like there's moments like that I think are interesting. Also, Keanu Reeves so is in this game as a cool guy. He so is in this game. Like I think this game is fine. I think honestly because I was very much anti it and like part of the controversy about that, so I'm not going to. But like I think so far like this game is not a masterpiece. I don't think it's as good as some people are saying. But, like it's fine as one of those. I think it's fine to waste time listening to podcasts, which is what I'm doing with it.
Hell yeah.
Like just to say, Keanu Reeves is trying way too hard to be a cool guy in this. It really makes sense because they sold the game on like him like being like your guy in your mind, but like it
He's an
seems
isn't he like a terrorist and rock star in that
yeah. The thing,
game?
the premise of the game is
You
like
know, that's
basically
like he's like he has to be cool.
yeah. The premise is basically he's put in your head basically, so it's like he's just like giving you snide comments and shit, and like a lot of them was just like you just bombed them, lady. You did a nice job smacking them around. You got it. I'm like I don't hate this game or anything. I think it's really fine. But like, man, Keanu Reeves, I like you, guy. I think you're decent enough as an actor. You really are trying way too hard in this fucking video game. But anyway, it's fine. I mean, enjoy it. I'm looking forward to doing the DLC. I like that if you do certain faction mixes, it pisses off other factions, and you just send like 200 random people killing you. That's funny. But yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I might check it out someday when it's on sale and really cheap with the DLC. You know.
Yeah, listen to Just King Things by playing it or something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So my thing, I think I'm just gonna give a little overview because there's so many little things I'm doing and have done. I'm not gonna go into the incident,
Mm-hmm.
um, but um, currently, just so y'all know what I will be up to and have been up to, I'm still on my DJ stuff. I'm working on a secret thing that I have to keep secrets from Alice
Yeah.
until I can reveal it. Um, Probably back on my Warhammer bullshit this fall and winter because that old world shit they brought the back Warhammer Fantasy back basically,
Yeah, let's
like the
go.
models. So I'm gonna paint some like Chaos Slaanesh warriors. It's gonna be
What's
sick.
what's your favorite of Warhammer Fantasy faction?
It's Chaos. I'm pretty sure it's Chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, love the white guys. Great white guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
The red guys are great. This gaming are funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, what else? There's some like event stuff I'm involved with. Maybe gonna show some movies at like the place I'm hanging out now. Yeah, stuff is moving along. Also, I'm gonna be juicing them hormones eventually, so I'm on that road.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everything's coming out pretty Alessia.
Very nice. Very glad you're enjoying your life, enjoying being yourself. That's nice.
Thanks.
In Gemini movies, we enjoy when people are allowed to be themselves. Always
It's
nice.
pretty hype.
That's coolio, as I like to say it.
That's Coolio, exactly.
Approved by
So
Coolio the Wapple. Okay. Anyway, let's go.
yeah, so today we're gonna talk about three movies about like love triangles, threesome relationships, polyamory, bisexuality stuff.
Yeah, just wanna
That's basically
say.
what's going on.
So this was meant to be the pilot episode, but live stuff and the main thing, so this got delayed into the final episode. So we don't remember a lot of these movies because one of them is very forgettable. Just FYI.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best. This is like a victory lap. This is once more around the sun.
Yeah, this is like the propaganda song bit we love. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's
this
go.
is like ska music. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Yeah, let's go.
So I guess we're gonna do a short blast from the past segment because, as everybody knows, in 1992, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the CIA invented bisexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So we had something to talk about while like all those Soviet assets were sold off.
Yeah.
And before that, nobody could be bisexual. It just didn't exist. No, we didn't know how to do it. We didn't have the technology.
Yeah, yeah.
So all everybody was talking about in the 90s was fucking bisexuals for some reason.
Yeah, it was the CIA's secret bisexuality way.
Yeah, it has to be the CIA. But yeah, it's weird if you watch these movies today because, yeah, they sure were like trying to figure out shit.
Yeah, like Zeno and I talking about this like an actual non-zoki way. The thing is like from the 70s to the 80s, a lot of like both in terms of like actual queer liberation and actual like more mainstream liberal posters or like even conservative posters like doing some like early representation will focus on like gay and lesbians, specifically cis and gay and lesbians.
Yeah,
For a variety of reasons we cannot talk about here, but like community stuff, respectability politics, and just like that was what was more like visible at the time. So because of that, in the 90s, this also happens with trans stuff, not as much, like still around trans stuff. In the 90s, I would say in general, you start seeing like a lot more media about queer stuff and identities outside of like gay men and like lesbians. Um,
yeah,
uh, Specifically bisexual people because that's when like a lot of bisexuality stuff was being like talked about and etc. People coming out. After there's a little movie called Chasing Amy, we'll probably talk about it later. Um,
I have never seen it.
Sometimes you're so massive. Sometimes you mean well, but to make you mean well, a movie will like I go. I wonder what the bisexual people is. That's just what the movie is. But yeah,
Yeah,
so there's a lot of like trying to in very like messy ways and like me outside and inside. People were trying to figure out. Uh, Now people talk about how to like queer identities outside of just lesbian women and like gay men, and bisexual focus of that. So how like a lot of bisexual media, there's also an angle of fetishization, etc. We'll talk about it. A lot of stuff happening, of course. A lot of stuff.
yeah. Um, So yeah, do we want to go into our notes and like compare and contrast?
Yeah, but what is there anything more to talk about the 90s? No.
Um, I guess we like laid it down,
Yeah, we
the
laid it down.
basics. People just talked a
Bale,
lot about that shit, like it's
yeah,
suddenly was the big topic.
Bill Clinton. I was gonna say that. Bill Clinton.
God,
Anyway.
that's a slur. We're gonna have to believe that out, Alice. Just because it's the final episode, you can't just say anything you want.
Anyway, let's go to our notes. As always, we just give us genuine impressions of the movies. Threesome is a fine romantic comedy besides one scene that we'll talk about later, where they say an extra slur. But yeah, it's like a fine romantic comedy, dramedy thing. It has some interesting moments. I like it. Decent enough. It's by the director of The Craft. Much more like bigger, queer, horror icon movie. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I like it. I think Threesome is fine. Three Hearts is incredibly forgettable and like I remember seeing the Letterboxd reviews and thought it was gonna be this is gonna be one of those movies that's weird and what's one better. This is gonna be I don't know
Hmm.
bisexual. Freddy gets fingered and no, it's just weird bad in the sense of like sometimes the movie is weird bad and awful, but in a boring way. Where like this is just one of the most boring things I've seen in my life, and that's Three of
Yeah.
Hearts. Uh, I supported this movies have the boardroom battles. That's that. One of them is apparently Republican homophobe, so that's funny. But like, we're not gonna focus on that because I don't think any of us give a shit about the fucking Baldwin battles.
Yeah, I'm
So,
not Baldwin pilled. I don't.
I would say there's also two people from Twin Peaks in the movies. They do a good
Yeah,
job.
there's a lot of weird coincidences with these movies.
Yeah.
What
Your
can I
thoughts?
say? I like Threesome. It's fun. It's like it's a fun like teen coming of age, basically sex comedy, but like not one of those super gross ones.
Yeah.
More like I guess also a rom com a bit.
Yeah, this is like the brief era of like sex comedies that are like actually not that sexy, but like do still go like in a space of like they show nudity or something, so they get still like that rating, and like still about this ever.
Yeah,
This
from
is
some of what I read, the threesome was meant to be more sexy. Actually, they cut some stuff out.
makes sense. Like this was able like that stuff was still like a bit hard to promote. And like so studios were a bit wary. Like a lot of the stuff that was getting like those very mature ratings was like movies with big stars that they knew would sell or like specific stuff they could sell on the set more than just a comedy like Basic Instant. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, because all we get basically on man action in that movie is, I think, ass grabbing.
Yeah, it's more like here there's a lady.
Yeah, and
Ooh,
here, like, wow, he's touching his ass.
so scary. Ass tossing.
Damn, it's transgressive. This is risque.
This is so
Ass touching.
this is so transgressive anyway. And yeah. Uh,
Yeah, and Tree of Hearts is, yeah, pretty terrible. It's like everything I don't like about these like impersonation or like trying to trick somebody but in a romantic way stories.
It feels like one of the most blatant attempt at just a studio copying, like like this was also the era of like the indie rom-com, and so like those
Yeah,
like indie quirky rom-coms from like the 90s.
always with like young sexy people in your New York and shit.
Yeah, this feels the most just a studio because I look it up. This was not like a positive act. This is nothing. This was literally just a studio going get one of those, and like it feels like one of those in the worst ways because it's so hollow. It's a weird fucking hollow movie.
Yeah, it's bad, and it ends so depressingly. Like it's bad.
It's kind of homophobic. We're talking about it.
Hmm.
Let's go. Time warp. Forward. Do it.
Time warp again.
Forward. What's next?
Um, let's talk. Let's start with Three of Hearts, cast and acting. What do you have to say?
Um, let's see. The acting is really boring. Um, Oh, by the way, cut this part out. Are you gonna read the actors' names? Or makes no sense.
Um, oh no! Thanks for reminding me. I'm
Go
actually not
get them.
cutting that out because I'm gonna make it as easy as possible for me. Um, I'm gonna read them out right now. Okay, let's start with Tree of Hearts. We have William Baldwin as Joe Casella, Kelly Lynch as Connie Kuzelski, and Sherilyn Fenn, God bless her heart, as Ellen Armstrong. I'm not gonna read the other ones because they're basically not important and I don't remember them.
Isn't there like a big guy that plays one of the mobsters or something?
Yeah, I guess Joey Pantoliano is
Yeah,
maybe.
who also plays the homophobic mobster from Bound, the next secret movie about lesbians. But yeah, um, the guy, the Baldwin guy, is really balling in this. He's just one of those.
I hate his face.
He sucks so hard. It's
Like I hate him in this movie. Like I
you know,
really
this.
despise him.
I feel like this movie is like the worst of the fucking '90s movies because it's so a blatant attempt to get the other trends. He's like the guy is fucking one of those like slick back. I mean,
Yeah,
New
he's one
York.
step away from being American Psycho.
Yeah, and now I love the lungs, I love the food. One of those like smart, snappy characters. But the thing is, because this movie is so fucking hollow, the guy just seems like the guy's just an asshole.
They
He's,
forgot to make him likable, yeah? Or maybe the joke is that he's not likable, but
the
like
thing is, like, he needs to be more Queen's Fighter, like just funny evil if he's gonna be that.
yeah.
Like, and he's just not has that
He's
energy.
also supposed to be irresistible while also being like untenable.
He's also not that sexy, is a thing. But that's a
He's like that 90s sexy, yeah. The weird Hollywood guy.
yeah, but yeah, like he's just doing nothing. It's not about the script, but he's just kind of an asshole, and like the acting is just kind of nothing because it has no energy to it. So it's just
Like I
okay.
can't blame the women in this, you know?
Like the
Kelly Lynch
women,
and Sherilyn Fenn, like they just needed the bag, I think.
the women are like doing the best they can do with this. Honestly, like there's like some energy there, and like they're trying like snappiness and everything, but like the script is so fucking boring and bad.
They
You
kind
know.
of, yeah, there's no chemistry between anybody, really.
hmm
That's the real problem, yeah. Hmm.
So we just have an asshole guy sex pest being like, "I wanna fuck you, my girl." I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is one of those
Um,
movies' accents. What about
do we just
Zoe?
want to go to Threesome? Cast and
Uh,
acting.
the guy from Pound is in there, the mobster guy. He's trying. That's not the best. After he's seen success, kind of nothing there. But yeah.
Yeah, I just remember him, but I don't even
He seems
remember
he
that.
seems so meant to be important, but they just disconnect from the rest of the story. It's weird. But anyway, Threesome.
Threesome. Okay, we got Lara Flynn Boyle as Alex Henderson, Stephen Baldwin as Stuart, Josh Carls as Eddie Howie, and then Alexis Arquette as Dick. Who was this? Who was Dick?
Isn't he the other guy?
No, she's a woman. She's a
Isn't
woman, and in the movie she's called Dick.
isn't he the what the one? Who's he? Actually, I don't remember this character.
She's blonde, apparently. Yeah, no, I don't know who this is. The three main characters are really all that matters in this movie.
Yeah,
Most
the
of the
rest.
other characters don't even have a name.
Yeah,
The-
I think the chemistry between the actors is decent. It's not the best, but I think they are like the. It's very much the movie that it's not the improv, but it feels very like all the actors is playing off Hisato in a way. It's like they'll make a joke, the actor will make a joke. They all like connect. Decent enough, I feel like, what it's trying to
I
do.
think they actually have pretty good chemistry for this kind of movie.
Yeah, it's the acting is like because this is actually genuinely trying to be not for commercial reasons. It's because it was an like an indie like rom-com thing. So like it tries to be one of those honesty and like it works. The acting is very laid back. It has a nice low energy to it. I think the chemistry is good. They play off Fisato. So like
Yeah, I think the writer is also like queer, right?
yeah, and the director.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's like
this actually was made by people who gave a fuck, and you can tell the difference.
yeah. So like it's very much has a nice kind of bouncing energy to it, honestly. Like those scenes where like they need to be a bit more over the top because it's still a comedy. So like when they need to go over the top, they'll yell Eddie Sato. It's nice. I don't think there's a lot to say. I
Yeah,
think it just works nice. They
yeah,
bounce
yeah.
very nice off Sato. I feel like
I think each character is cast really well. You have the nerdy guy, you have
the
the
Zark
woman
guy.
do you have the woman who ends up like having to exist in with two men in a space.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, jock guy he's immense in that. He's actually very good at being a jock.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna fuck this can. Very funny.
Yeah, they sell you on like this guy being extremely bad but still understanding how the other guy could be into him, and that's really hard to do. I feel like
Yeah,
it's a fine line to walk until he's just like completely unlikable. That's what Tree of Hearts didn't get done. Like he actually hits that line, I think,
yeah,
where you still understand why the other guy is interested into him.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah, it's good. Cast and acting is good. They have chemistry.
Yeah. They have a chemistry.
Okay, Tree of Hearts, the plot. It sucks.
Um, a guy is horny. He meets two women. I think there's something with like the mafia.
No. Here's my interpretation. See, this is like this is Rashomon, where everybody has a different interpretation. From what I remember, it's uh, Alex breaks up with Alexis, I guess,
Yeah.
who's like the most. She wears a leather jacket all the time. She's like supposed to be like, I think, a butch lesbian or something, even though she's not very butch.
Yeah, but Leersten Poorts is when we wear a letter jacket.
It's a leather jacket, and she combines it with some of the worst like combinations of clothing I've ever seen.
It's so
Like
bad.
it's disgusting. It's generally upsetting to see.
Does that sound like
Um,
a polo swear thing or something?
yeah, but then she wants to get back with her with her ex girlfriend, and so she hires this Stephen Baldwin guy. No, the William Baldwin guy, Joe Casella, to basically fall in love and break her heart, Alexa's heart, so she runs back to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
that's the plot.
basically the basic plot.
There's also a part about the mafia, I think, or
Hmm.
something.
The guy, because he's like a gigolo or something,
Yeah.
because he can get any girl.
Yeah. The
Um,
American Gigolo, yeah.
yeah, he's the gigolo, and then I think the mob is basically his pimp or something, so they get angry.
Yeah, they get very
Uh,
angry.
They get very angry. um, and then the bad part is that there's a scene where he basically like what is it? He proves she doesn't believe that he can get any girl, and then he basically what is it called? What is it called? When you know um,
Yeah, when I...
no, let me look it up. Seduce.
Yeah.
He basically seduces her ass, even though she's a lesbian, just to prove his point. And that's like the point where the movie really, you begin to hate it. You begin to hate
Yeah,
the
this
movie.
movie is like intensely like fucking lesbian phobic. Is really funny. The guy is really satty, but the rest of the movie basically just seems like he's like, oh, they're breaking up. This is the thing. This movie is technically about bisexuality, but it's very much just about a guy convincing lesbians to get into him.
I
It's a
mean,
fun-
I can. It's okay that like the Alex is bisexual or anything. Like, of course, like
Yes.
they already broke up at that point.
Yes, it's like okay. It's just like like there's weird energy around it. Like it feels really queerphobic.
There's a lot of really bad dynamics there. Yeah,
Specifically,
for sure, because she's like doing like weird stalker shit.
yeah, it gets a lot into like weird predatory lesbian shit, and like at the end, it's like she breaks like, at the end, it's like one of them gets into him or something, like
at the end he falls in love and she basically gives up on her,
Yeah.
and then nobody has kind of learned anything. Like it's really an anti-climax. You're really like, wow, I hate these characters still.
Yeah, but yeah, this movie is like weird about its queer depictions because it's very much using just that as a framing to get it, like, you know,
To get a heterosexual rom-com going.
yeah, like it's really uncomfortable at parts. So a lot of this movie is just like what I feel like this movie is what people think movies like. There's a common there's a common thing even among certain film buffs that like criticize movies that are just meandering dialogue as like just being meaningless. So stuff
Yeah.
like even, because this was like the era of like a lot of 90s movies that I genre because I'm a big fan of movies that are just meandering dialogue and stuff, but a lot of people think that those movies are just about meaningless dialogue that goes nowhere, but like stuff like Slacker or even Clerks uses the dialogue and the meaningless to do something about it. Be it
Yeah.
like just display the pain of being like this like middle class person working this like incredibly like bad fucking the supermarkets are the supermarket the convenience stores are that like leads you nowhere, or like just the weirdness of living in Texas. Uh,
Yeah.
this is like it's just a collection of bad dialogue that goes literally nowhere. That just results in, "Hey, I wanna have sex," and the lady goes, "No, it didn't go. But I wanna have sex. I love sex. I'm a guy. This is my fucking guy, boss. You know?
Hey, you're gonna do so well in New Jersey. Like
Yeah,
you
I'm
can do
New
that voice.
Jersey.
You're gonna like. It's like you can get invisible with that voice. You know.
Yeah, I'm Jerseying right now,
You're
but
a
yeah.
shadow. They can't even spot you.
Yeah, I'm going Jose mode, but yeah, like this movie is just a collection of meaningless moments and scenes that literally go nowhere and just pad out because what the pad out is just scenes and jokes that do nothing. And like movies can be that, but this literally just goes nowhere and it just feels like padding for padding. It feels trying to copy the formula of like those indie romance movies into nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just pretty empty. You know, they just spin their wheels until the movie ends.
It's really soulless.
It's bad.
Yeah. Threesome.
Okay. Um, yeah, I guess it's about these three people living together, and like the woman's into one guy, but the guy is into the other guy, and the other guy is into the woman. So it's
Yeah.
very classic shit,
Yeah,
but it's fun, you know?
it's very much more like a traditional comedy format of like it's very much it's a threesome movie. It's also applying a bit of like the romantic triangle movie genre thing. It's been going since
Yeah,
forever. It's very much like this lady has to struggle between these two men and they kind of still hate each other even though they are technically just having sex with each other. And like the Tempsons, it's classic. Boot guy doesn't like Nord guy, but they want the lady. It's
but
like
like the guy actually doesn't want the lady, the nerd guy.
yeah. But it's just
He's
using that format. I'm not saying yeah. It's using the
yeah. You
format to
could
get
you
it.
could of course if you like went into like the really microscope, you could read a lot of like how they're like kind of pushing each other into other directions maybe or basically get into the situation where they were more experiment with different stuff
Hmm.
because from what it goes I think the nerd character ends up at the end they say that he's like homosexual now and has a partner
Yeah, you can
and
be.
the other guy is straight and I think the woman is also straight.
Yeah, you can read this famous like about like people figuring out the sexuality, like uh, experimenting, which was like a popular thing because the idea that like bisexuality as
I
well
would
as
say it's always a
heterosexuality.
popular thing.
Yeah, it's like a
um,
proper fucking thing. It's still a joke people do, like a cat in a cell says, "Oh, I had like a bisexual experience in college."
It's a coming of age movie, I guess, in the same way,
Yeah,
right?
it's very much
It's
the plot of a coming of age, like university movie, just with like the more like sex comedy elements. So like they experiment a lot with sex. They have skinny dipping stuff like that. And, like I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's hard enough. Like like here's the thing: the plot formatting of this, the way the plot works is like fine. But it's very traditional. But it works
yeah,
enough. There's still like some 90s romantic comedy meandering. I think works because those meandering moments actually lead into other things. They lead into like scenes of like realizing, wait, do I want to be in this relationship, or like just more comedy at moments and stuff.
Yeah, there's some good montages, stuff like that, you know.
Also, they say the N word because this is a '90s movie. Classic moments.
Yeah, there's a couple words I think in there that wouldn't fly nowadays.
Yeah, don't do a racist slur in your white people romance movie, please. Uh,
Yeah.
anyway,
No, it still suffers from like, being a 90s comedy.
it has some of that '90s ass in a way that like doesn't just feels there because it's anyway just the more assy moments of it just feels like the studio said, make it assy, make it flashy, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Um,
But yeah,
yeah, I
it's
think
just,
that's about all about the plot, right?
yeah. Teams.
Trio of Hearts teams.
It's okay. Hot.
Heterosexuals rule. I don't know.
Compulsive heterosexuality.
um,
Yeah, this
Love
is
is complicated. See, I'm just pulling something out of my ass right
mafia.
now.
Mafia scary. Mafia
Mafia
scary.
scary, love complicated.
Polish people.
Roxanne, you don't have to.
Immigration story.
Yeah. Um, yeah, there's just not a lot here, I think.
Pokemon. You,
Yeah, Pokemon.
I'm just saying random things because. Anyway, but yeah, this has no fucking themes. It's a very stupid, like fucking. It's a very bad fucking comedy, like that's about like a goofy. He's a goofy guy who says the wrong things, but he gets the girl. Like it's anyway just one of those
He
fucking
doesn't get
90s
the
comedy.
girl, Alice.
Yeah.
Alice, he doesn't get the girl.
You,
Like that's the ending is still he's just running after her, but like
Yes,
she's
I
like, no,
know,
I'm down.
but you know, it's that format. He
Yeah,
doesn't get the goal, but he might as well get it. You know, he gets
yeah.
the
For
goal,
if
but
all the other steps are identical, yeah,
it's just one of those movies where it's just like this guy's so shitty, but the girls love him. He's a silly dilly, but yeah, like it's just one of those. There's like nothing really here to dissect. The use of bisexuality is just kind of nothing because it's just
yeah,
there. He's just there as a justification for why one of the girls is into him, and then it disappears. Because this movie doesn't give a shit about bisexual people, of course. It's a bad rom-com.
it just has a lesbian framing device.
It's really fucking bad. Like the thing is, if this movie was actually offensively bad, I would go, "This is a piece of shit, one of the most queerphobic movies of the '90s." But like, it's just so boring. I'm getting angry at it, but there's only a certain limit I can get angry at it because it's nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Teams. Threesome. I
Uh,
guess.
go,
Yeah.
Growing up, exploring sexuality, defining your sexuality by yourself, sex, sexuality in the actual sexual themes way, explaining your body, wacky, call us hijinks.
Yeah. I think that's everything I have here too. It's pretty good at that.
Yeah, it's like well, I don't actually know if there's a lot to say about this, but like I think the movie explores the theme of like sexuality in an interesting way because they're all even if it goes, yeah, one of the guys is like is gay and like the other two are straight and you can go like it's not actually none of these people are actually bisexual, etc. Experimentation, fetishization, bisexuality is an aesthetic, etc. I think it does it well enough. It's using that as a space to explore how we relate to ourselves and relate to like sexuality as a thing and like our identities. And like it's flawed, but I think it's fine in doing that
Yeah.
in terms of like this '90s movie. Like I think other characters do develop pretty well in terms of like defining who they are and like all the things and like realizing what they are in terms of like the way they want like so-called experiment and like how that goes into like how they let us feel about the fact that they're all having sex with each other. Like
Yeah.
it's decent.
Um, yeah. Especially if you think in the '90s, if you catch this as like a movie where you can like think about some of those things when you're like a teenager. It's like
Like
not the worst experience compared to like a lot of other, either like any kind of queer depiction in
like I feel
90s
like
media.
someday I'm gonna need to saw you sissing Amy, honestly. Because like I feel like the thing is my view of this comes from watching Stacey Amy of these movies. Stacey Amy is not as offensive as Three Hearts, but it's also not as thoughtful as Threesome. Stacey Amy is very much as Kevin Smith, very much as trying like being well meaning and wanting to explore bisexuality as a thing, but like fundamentally still framing it in a very like serious way, like view of like, oh, those I'm gonna explore what's being bisexual into those very one-on-one stuff that just realizes into being kind of offensive by the end. But I feel like Threesome is like actually explaining that stuff because it's like by actual queer people. So it's exploring that space and going, this is how people relate to that, which I don't think it's where, but it's that goes where. I don't think it fully works, but it works well in the context of like using that to explore like sexuality and shit, you know.
Yeah. Well said. Let's go to Tree of Hearts cultural relevance. No.
Sound cinematography and soundtrack though.
That's after that.
Okay, cultural relevance. This movie is really forgettable.
Yeah, just nothing. Threesome cultural relevance. There's some bad words in there, but the rest is pretty good.
It's by the director of The Craft. This is like a queer horror classic. So like, listen, if you want to explore the body of like the first movie I liked, that's for a movie that's well liked. Plus, just like if you want to, if you're like somebody curious about like 90s queer movies and movies by the queer directors in the 90s, I feel like this is an interesting movie that at least some people seem to be curious about. I feel like just as a relic at the time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Do you have anything
I
else?
think. Yeah, I think seek this out if you want to see more 90s queer cinema. And maybe if you're like really into rom-coms, I guess. Like this is pretty fun if you're into rom-coms or like these raunchy teenage comedies from the 90s.
Okay.
This can still hit that nerve a bit.
It's time to discuss the camera work.
Cinematography, Tree of Hearts. I don't remember anything that
It
like
looks
would
like
have
a
impressed me.
It literally just looks like a movie. It looks like the most movie ever between Zesta. It's a movie.
Yeah. It sure is a movie.
This is the most studio order this to be made thing ever.
People filmed this. People filmed this someday in the past, and now we can watch it.
Fun fact: if you ever are in New York, you can do the Tree Hearts tour. You can go to iconic place from Tree Hearts like New York City, and building in New York City. Anyway,
please download the Tree of Hearts app. That's what we're kickstarting right now. It shows you all the places in New York City. It's not just Google Maps. It's not just a list on Google Maps. Trust us. Just pay the subscription. It's all good.
We'll pay, and then we'll pay for the Patreon of our Serbian founder Ivan. Wait, is Ivan?
We got Saudi money. We got like Saudi money.
Wagnerberg, yeah.
No, we have Saudi money because the Tree of Hearts app is also going into esports.
Yeah, by actually download you get a free ticket to Saudi Arabia. Please support the Saudi Arabian fund. Please go to the
Nobody's ever gonna use that clip out of isolation to condemn you. It's good.
You cannot condemn me because I condemn myself.
Now we're finally cancelled. Okay, cinematography, Threesome.
It looks fine. I think there's some decent shots. Like there's the shot with like Ghost Skinny dipping that I think is well shot. Even if it's focusing on like the ladies' boobs a bit too much because it's only 90s movie. But yeah, I think it's decent enough. I would say. I think there's not a lot of interesting shots. Like they focus on the cat. There's a lot actually focus on the cat of face alike, because you don't see that a lot. It's a thing I normally think. Like to give an example,
close-ups, you mean?
Yeah, now, like to give an example, in a lot of like TV, you see this in anime as well. A lot of stuff from Japan, or like even other Asian countries, you see a lot of camera work on people's faces because culturally they see the face as a very important part of like communication and stuff. So you know what I'm talking about. So like there's a lot of focus on expressions and eyes and stuff, which does happen a lot in like Western cinema, but like in American cinema there's like more distance from that. When it's done. In this one, they do show a bit more on the faces and like those emotions, if you know what I'm talking about, which I find interesting.
Okay.
You do remember, right?
Yeah, I do. I do think I know what you mean. Yeah, you
Yeah,
point that out sometimes.
yeah. Because I'm a cinematographer, Heather. I watch too many movies, so I know about cameras now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Dolly shot,
but yeah, it's
wide
still,
angle lens. See, I can say movie words.
but yeah,
Um,
Baby Driver. Anyway, let's um,
that's a movie, not a movie word.
but uses cameras. But anyway, yeah, it's well done. I would say it's well done enough.
The montages are cool. There's good montages. I think it has a couple nice shots. Yeah,
Yeah,
looks better than the other movie.
soundtrack.
Yeah, this is where my notes just end.
I don't remember the soundtrack of either movies. I think it's just fine music for later. So that's
Yeah,
this was as go watch Threesome. It's a fine comedy. I like it a lot. If you want to 90s indie romance movies by queer directors, it's pretty good. Three Hearts is awful. Don't watch it. And now we can talk about the real thing. This is the
the real
goodbye.
thing.
Yeah, we're gonna start the Bitcoin company and go to the moon. That's very fun. No, due
Yeah.
to life stuff that we don't mention here, we decided to retire this podcast, and I'm gonna more focus on my streaming, while Lex is gonna live in a mountain, basically. Um, yeah, not
No.
be that much online. You're living in the cave of
Yeah,
mountain lion.
I'm on the Discords nowadays. You know, if you already have me there, you know me.
There's
Maybe
three
you know me
days
in real
before
life.
co-host shuts down, so yeah, that's
Yeah, this is literally end of Evangelion era. You know, this I'm ascending to a higher plane, maybe a
yeah.
lower plane.
But no, because of that, we just have like different meanings and purposes. Of course, with our friends and everything. I just want to say, I know there's like 5 people that listen to this podcast. As always, thank you for listening to this podcast and like listening to me and Alexia do rambles about media. We had a lot of interesting conversations. We had a lot of good moments. But things are changed. We have different things now, and like I want to go back to streaming and stuff like that. So, but anyway, thank you for listening. This has been like 2 or 3 years of our lives. Probably far with the Freaklings podcast no one listened to. It have been an interesting way of like experimenting and like allowing myself to be more communicative in a way that like helps me. Uh, yeah, as
Yeah.
always. So yeah, no other movie. This is the final episode. So oh no, that's a space alien. We've been attacked by space aliens. What's us in the new podcast?
Hey,
Fighting the space aliens who hate Bitcoin. They're pro NFTs. Oh no. See ya. What's the space alien podcast? I don't know. See ya.
Yeah. Wait, I also want to say
Okay.
goodbye to everybody.
See ya.
And yeah, thank you all for watching. This was fun to do. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
I think we both learned and improved a bunch.
Yeah.
So I wish everybody a good time, and maybe we'll see you all again someday.
When
Bye.
we do a podcast reviewing all of Squabs.